So I'm coming up to my 4th year doing YouTube at the moment, and one of the main things I constantly get asked about is this enclosure behind me, which is my fire-bellied toad paludarium. Now, because I haven't been doing YouTube that long, this was built before I even started, so it's really difficult for me to show you how this was built without actually showing you. But we've got an opportunity to recreate this sort of enclosure, and we're going to start discussing that in today's video. So if you want to know a bit more about this tank, if you've commented and want to know any questions, then this is the video for you. So don't go anywhere, and that's all coming up right after this. So for those who've been following the channel a while, you'll know this is my fire-bellied toad paludarium, and it houses usually 4 fire-bellied toads, 2 males and 2 females. But we do have a sick frog at the moment, which is about to go back in actually, because she's doing a lot better. If you want to find out what's been going on there, then I'll leave a link down in the description or a card for the video up here. But maybe back earlier this year, we also added fish into this enclosure, which are white cloud mountain minnows, and we also added some blue dream shrimp, which are very rarely seen, but they are in there. So this tank's probably been running and set up for coming up to probably 5 years now, so just before I started YouTube. It's been a really successful enclosure, to be honest. I've been really happy with it. We've made some changes, had some disasters along the way, but generally it's one of those tanks that's continuously progressing in the right way. Now, personally, I think these setups are a lot easier to keep just for the fact there's a water area in there. So when it comes to mosses and a lot of the plants are like high humidity, a lot of moisture, then this suits them perfectly. And to be honest, I've even used aquarium plants in the terrestrial parts as well, and that is purely because it's such a wet condition in there for them. Now, this isn't a high-tech setup by any means. All we've got in terms of lighting, we've got some UVB bulbs in the hood. Now, they're only ones I've used, and they're starting to run out because these frogs don't need high levels of UV, but I believe they will need some to an extent. I've also got a LED strip on the back as well, just to assist with some of the plants, and it's helping me get the creeping fig to creep over to the one side. Now that's it in terms of lighting. I'm probably going to look at that in the future. Now in terms of the water, so we've got an internal aquarium filter around the side, and that is running the waterfall, obviously keeping the water cycles and healthy for the fish and the frogs. Now other than that, that is it. There's no heater, there's definitely no CO2 or anything else fancy. And we are going to be looking at ways we can improve this setup in the future as well. So make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on any of that. But generally really happy with this setup. The animals are doing really well. Obviously we do have the sick fire-bellied toads about to go back, but that's nothing to do with the setup. Now I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I'm looking to recreate this setup. So why don't we dig a little bit deeper into that? So we've got the new tank. So we have got a new Exoterra 45 by 45, so exactly the same tank as what you just seen. Now this isn't for this room or for me, this is going to be a build for my father-in-law who also wants fire-bellied toads. So we're going to recreate this to an extent. So I'm going to try and replicate it as close as I can. Obviously with natural products, none of them look or feel or anything the same. They're all unique. So we'll do our best, but the principle is going to be the same. But I've learned a lot since making this tank. I think this is my 2nd or 3rd bioactive build, and this was again before YouTube. So there's a few things I really want to address in this one. So for those who've been following the channel a while, you'll know that I hate getting to the filter and doing maintenance on the filter, just because I have to remove a complete section of land area just to access it. Disrupts the plants, the frogs, and it's just a bit of a pain that doesn't need to happen. So we're going to address that this time, and I've thought of a few different ways that we can do the filtration and also the waterfall, which will be better. And I'm hoping to use a canister filter, which I've talked about adding on to this tank as well. So the materials we're going to use will be the landscape foam. This is by Touch and Foam and is for ponds and exterior landscapes. So this is designed to be fish safe. There are a lot of brands out there, and I've seen a lot of channels that use stuff from builders merchants that isn't designed to be fish safe. So if it's usually not fish safe, it's not going to be reptile safe. And then the same applies for silicone, which we've got here. Okay, so it's from black marine grade silicone, which again is fish safe, which means it's reptile safe. So we'll create the background with that. There's already a background in there which we're not going to use. And then also we'll create a water section, the land area, plus the waterfall, and then also we'll look at areas where we can introduce plants, terrestrially and aquatic plants. Now luckily, one of the friends of this channel, Tim from Tim Reptile, if you've not seen his channel, go and check it out, is kindly offered to donate some five-belly toads for this project once it's done. So massive thanks to that, Tim, much appreciated, and I'm sure we can do a little gift in return for your generosity. Okay, so between the old and the new. But I wanted to get this video out today because one, I've been planning on this build for a while, and just because of restrictions with COVID, we've been able to get the tank here and the rest of it. So really excited about getting this tank done because I'd love to try and replicate this and also include the improvements that I would have made on this build if I knew what I knew now then. But also I want to get this video out because there's been a lot of fish content lately, because that's a lot of the stuff I've been working on. Obviously we've done the 30C, we added the fish. I've got a shrimp videos that come up as well, adding those in. There's some maintenance I need to do on that tank, and I want to bring you along for that. Obviously, we redid the 20-gallon scape. Again, this is also more videos to come on that. I've got some filter unboxings and settings up as well. And there's some work I want to do on the AJ45P, as well as get the new racking system made. Again, 3 more fish tanks there. So I appreciate that for those of you who like the reptile content, it can be a bit of a pain when there's no reptile content coming out. But I suppose fish are 50% of this channel and it's part of my hobby, and I hope I can bring some of you along that perhaps wouldn't have got into fish and get you into it, and vice versa with reptiles. So I'm hoping that you'll find some enjoyment out of all the content that's coming out at the moment. I am working on how I'm producing these videos and trying to make things better, a bit more streamlined, and so I can focus on the quality of the videos and the content. So hoping you're seeing that come through slowly. But don't worry, reptile fans, there's plenty more reptile content to come out. I've got plenty of plans coming. There's some stuff I need to do to Castro, my Cuban Lightenals enclosure, as well as the five bellies and Bert's enclosure. I'm not forgetting our little baby ball python, which we still haven't named yet. But I've got a name in mind, and perhaps we'll do that in another video. But I've got a tank that's come in that means something to me for him. And it's only gonna be a temporary setup, but it's still gonna be a nice size enclosure for him, a 4x2x2. But I've got some better plans way into the future for him, and I want to provide something a little bit different. But this will be a great enclosure for the meantime for him, and like I said, you'll see why it means something to me when that comes up. So that should be coming next weekend. So that is all to come, as well as I've got some scapes to set up, some new bioactive enclosures to make. There's plenty going on. But if you want to help me along on that ride, as these things can be pricey, then watching these videos is a massive support. Liking, commenting really helps me out. As well, if you want to go and check out my merch, I was just about to do that, but I'm wearing a plain black t-shirt. Then that really helps the channel, and all the proceeds go back into filming equipment and making the animals' lives even better, and hopefully making your viewing experience better. So I think that's enough of me rambling on for today, but there's plenty of exciting things to come, so hit that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next video.